What's going on, everybody? It's just another day in the kitchen, back with another episode, and in today's video we'll be exploring the unreleased merch collection in support of Travis Scott's collab album Huncho Jack, Jack Huncho. Now before we get started, I want to give a special shout out to the homie Strain Beats who's been cooking up the beats for these videos, so make sure you guys check them out. And while you're here, you might as well drop a like and subscribe and join our free Discord to stay up to date with the latest and the greatest. Shout out to all of my chefs in there, and shout out to the homie Rager Kicks who helped me put this video together. Now to kick off today's video, we'll be going back in time nearly 7 years to December of 2017, where we saw a young Travis Scott aka La Flame here team up with 1/3 of the Migos in the form of Quavo here. And the duo would of course go on to record over 20 songs, but not before dropping their collab album, Huncho Jack, Jack Huncho, which would go on to debut number 3 on the Billboard 200 with over 90,000 units sold. Now, as far as the project itself, and perhaps the most special thing about it, Travis would actually enlist the likes of legendary British illustrator Ralph Steadman, who is most famously known for his works with Hunter S. Thompson, to create not only the now legendary artwork, but also put together this now unreleased merch collection. So for the next portion of this video, I wanted to share pieces from this collection that were unfortunately never released, but have been gathered and preserved by various Travis Scott collectors throughout the years, and I'd love to know in the comments which one is your favorite by far. Now interestingly, while you will see a variety of different pieces from this collection in this video, one thing to note is that all of the pieces were only made on size large and XL blanks, which leads me to believe these were likely only passed out to friends and family of Travis. So if you happen to be looking for pieces from this collection but you're on the smaller side, I definitely say buyers beware, as likely those pieces are not authentic. Which leads us to a cleaner close-up of one of these pieces, in which you can really appreciate the fact that Ralph actually created works of art individually for this collection, and I also find it worth mentioning that every piece is either a 1 of 1 or 1 of 2. So I feel like fans would have been in for a real treat. Now, while doing research for this video, we also came across the following promotional photos from this era, which I think are pretty dope, and I think it's cool to see the Cactus Jack logo alongside the QC or Quality Control logo, which is of course on behalf of Quavo. As far as one of the more coveted or sought after items from this unreleased collection, I wanted to feature images of the following t-shirt, which has changed hands between collectors several times, as it features not only this interesting and crazy looking creature, but we also get a cool splash of Steadman's signature, which really makes these pieces in collection feel like works of art. And we've also seen Travis himself along with members of his crew wear this one. So I want to believe it was one of the favorites of the Cactus Jack guys, despite it not officially being released to the public. Now, as far as the collection itself, and again a special shout out to all of the collectors that have been able to track these items down throughout the years, we've been able to confirm that there was some variety intended, and as you guys can see from these t-shirts throughout the video, we have seen some variation, at least in some of the artworks. So I really feel like this collection was a bit ahead of its time, as Travis was pretty young in his career to be linking up and getting some official artworks done by a legend like Steadman, but also Travis tends to be ahead of the curve, as we would later see him collab with other major brands in most recent years. And who could forget his collabs with George Condo? So last but certainly not least, I also wanted to share the following unreleased hoodie, which was of course also designed by Ralph. And while not 100% linked to this Huncho Jack collection, it definitely sits in that era, as this event actually took place just several weeks after the release of the album, so we'll go ahead and include it. Now, you might be watching this video and wondering, well, who the heck is Ralph Steadman and why is this such a big deal? And I really can't understate how crazy it is that Travis was able to link up with such a legendary artist. Because as Ralph would share himself, he definitely never listened to this type of music, but he saw that the guys were inspired by his cacti inspired artworks, and after seeing the guys' dreadlocks, he was weirdly inspired to do the pieces. Which, if you didn't know, the actual album artwork would be inspired by the following picture of La Flame and Quavo here, so I think it's pretty sick to see Steadman's interpretation and see just how far it came. And something I noticed while doing research on Travis's merch history and making these videos is I really appreciate how artists as big as him are able to bridge the gap for their fans between things like art, fashion, and music, and really introduce everyone to different worlds. So to wrap up today's video, I wanted to ask all of my chefs and viewers if you're ready for Huncho Jack 2, as it was just a couple of months ago Quavo would post the following Instagram post teasing it and asking if we're ready. Now, as always, guys, thank you so much for cooking with the kitchen, and let me know what you guys think about this collection. Do you think that they should have dropped it, and should it have seen the light of day? I do want to remark that at the end of the day, no one quite knows why this one never dropped, but I want to believe it was just because of logistics. And I also wanted to mention that Ralph himself said that he was actually able to whip up the entire collection in just under a week or so. Now, as always, guys, remember to stay safe out there. Let me know if you guys are going for any of these upcoming Travis Scott sneakers, and remember, it's lit. Straight up, and peace.